All right, so Jon Stewart, on his show, did an interview with Arizona Attorney General Mark Brnovich. And look, he's going to question him on the whole election denial thing, because this is a guy who's pro-Trump and has been coddling his nutsack and trying to earn favor with him and denies the election in his own respect. So this is going to be another great example of how, like, a retired comedian is better at journalism than journalists. Let's watch.
Right now, we have about, I think, almost 20 criminal cases related to the 2020 election.
Out of 4 million votes.
Yeah, no, I'm talking in facts, John. But the reality is there are millions of people, not only in Arizona, but people throughout this country that think the election is stolen.
There's people that...
Okay, they're wrong. They're incorrect. And that matters.
Believe in angels, but that doesn't mean you launch an investigation that angels changed ballots. Like a bit of a tautology. When you have a former president spreading rumors to his supporters, for instance, Trump can say 74,000 mail-in ballots received that were never mailed, magically appearing ballots. 168,000 fraudulent ballots printed on illegal paper. 36,000 ballots illegally cast by non-citizens. Now, the truth is, none of that was real.
When it first came out, the Cyber Ninja said Joe Biden won Arizona. And then they got a lot of pushback, and then they started hedging and hawing. And then next thing you know, people were like, well, Brnovich needs to do something about it. And then it was like a hot mess.
But you've responded by doing things about it.
I've done
said you're still investigating.
We've run a lot of the stuff to ground.
And when you get it to ground, will you come out and say, Donald J. Trump is wrong? The election in Arizona was fair, not stolen, and not fraudulent.
I've always been a straight shooter, and once all the facts and evidence are in. John, come on, man. I'm telling you.
You have found no evidence that the election in Arizona was fraudulent or stolen from Donald Trump.
Donald Trump lost Arizona, period. I've said that from the very beginning. There have been isolated incidences thus far that we've identified, and we are prosecuting.
Yes.
We still have some active investigations going on, but people can draw their own conclusions.
There is no, people cannot draw their own conclusions. That's the point of the law.
Yeah, it is.
The law is that you have facts and you have fiction.
Right.
The fact is the election in Arizona was well run, not fraudulent, and not stolen from Donald Trump, according to even your investigation.
I have never said.
Why is it so hard to just say yes to that?
I guess because I've spent most of my career as a prosecutor, and we still have some ongoing cases.
So in your mind...
They did a whole ass election audit in Arizona, and they found out Biden actually won by more votes than they thought he won by on election day. That's incredible. So it could have been Biden running around saying, look, I don't trust the election. I think I won by more. And he would have been right. Instead of Trump saying he won, and he's been proven wrong time and time and time and time and time again. And these idiots can't just be honest about it. Why? Because he's scared. Scared for his, political career. Trying to protect his ass cheeks. That's what he's doing.
You still feel like after all this, you're going to discover a concerted effort to steal the election from Donald Trump and that it was fraudulent. Is that what you're saying?
No, that's not what I'm saying.
So why can't you say the election in 2020 was not stolen or fraudulent?
I will tell you this. As I said,
this is blowing my mind.
There you go. Yeah. And that's more than half of the Republican Party is just like that guy. Just weaselly, beating around the bush. I mean, but if you look at the thing, there's the thing with the thing and the cases. I found seven examples. How do we know that 7 is not really like 7.2 million? How do we know that? Do we know for sure? Look at the most recent example of this. Ron DeSantis in Florida doing his bust of on voter fraud, arresting 20 people. Come to find out, because investigative reporters looked into this, dug into the details of it, all of those people were told by the government of Florida, oh, you're allowed to vote now. Because the people of Florida voted to return voting rights to former felons. So they got their rights back, and then when they got out, they were told, hey, you're allowed to vote now, just register and you're all set. So they did exactly that. They went and voted, and then they got arrested and charged with a felony. That's what happened. Because Ron DeSantis is trying to get a fucking photo op and do a PR stunt and become president, so he's ruining the lives of 20 different people. That's what that is. So what happened was they decided to change the law, override the people of Florida and change the law and say, actually, for these particular crimes, you don't get your voting rights back. And so these people were told they could vote when they were allowed to vote, and then now that they weren't allowed to vote, nobody told them, and then they voted, and then they got arrested. This isn't like a bunch of people deciding to get together and gather the names of 50 people from graveyards and do fraudulent votes. That's not what happened. But they try to pretend like that is what happened. It's all a fucking con, man. It is. It really is. Anyway, credit to Jon Stewart. This was based. If you want to see me and Crystal Ball interview legends like Noam Chomsky, Cornel West, and more, subscribe to Crystal, Kyle, and Friends on Substack. $5 a month gets you the video version a day early. Remember, we take 0 ad dollars for this podcast. Or you can sign up on Substack for free and get the audio version a day later. Link in the video description box below.